but you want to access something that is stored on your college computer. Regular HTTP tunneling software is one way. So from your college, you can access your home machine, but not the other way around. So using Super Network Tunnel, you can actually do both, which is why it's far superior as compared to regular HTTP tunneling software. Another fabulous software which I like to recommend to all of you is Siphon. Siphon was created to fight the Chinese government. The Chinese government, as many of you may know, have a very bad habit of blocking all the fun websites on the internet. Facebook is blocked in China. YouTube is blocked in China. Most other interesting websites are blocked in China. Even my own website, ankitfare.com, is blocked in China. So people in China, just the way you have to fight your college or company to access websites, people in China have to fight the government. And the government has employed thousands of people whose only job every day is to find new proxy servers and block them. So imagine how difficult it might be in China to access blocked websites, which is where Siphon comes into the picture. Siphon is an invitation-only secret network where every single day members of Siphon are sent one new proxy server via email. And using that, it will work for a few hours for the rest of the day until the government blocks it. So using that, people are able to communicate or access blocked websites on the internet. So it's a pretty cool network. The only way to join it is you need to find some hacker in China who is already a member and who can invite you. It's not that easy to become a member of Siphon. Another common strategy that people in China use to unblock access to certain websites or certain blogs is to use something known as upside down text. So basically, because the Chinese government blocks certain keywords, so some keywords say Shah Rukh Khan may be blocked or something else may be blocked. So to prevent the Chinese government from detecting that your blog has something that has to be blocked, a lot of people use upsidedowntext.com. So in upsidedowntext.com website, you can write normally, click on a button and it will kind of reverse or make it upside down. Similarly, there's reverse text websites as well. So people in China, when they want to write a blog, say criticizing the government, and they don't want an automatic software to detect that their blog is criticizing the government, they use a website called textmechanic.com that allows you to write in reverse text. So it will be very difficult for an automatic software to detect that. Another very common strategy to unblock websites is to use Google Translate. So imagine that youtube.com is blocked in your college and you really want to access it. So what do? You go to translate.google.com, and since you want to access youtube.com, you type youtube.com and you select I want to convert it from English to, say, I want to convert it to Hindi. And I click on translate. So if you notice, I will be able to access the YouTube website in Hindi. And my college will think that I'm just accessing Google. But in reality, I'm using the Google Translate server to access YouTube. So it's a very simple way of unblocking access to blocked websites by just using the translate tool or the translation service available on the Google server. Another very interesting software is Proxy Workbench. Proxy Workbench records all the data passing through that particular network or system in real time. If you are interested in networking, if you're interested in hacking, and if you want to study how connections get established, or how different types of data, different applications establish different connections or use different protocols, this is a fabulous software to just run and just keep doing something that you normally do on the internet. And this software will give you a lot of insights that you may not be aware of normally. So, in the last 2 lectures, we have seen a variety of different ways in which you can trace an IP address or trace, identity or cyber identities of people on the internet. So let us take things to the next level. Let me introduce to you a new concept called people hacking. Nowadays, we live very connected lives where everything that we do is being tracked, is being recorded on some server or the other on the internet. So it's very difficult to do something on the internet anymore without leaving a trace behind. Somebody somewhere is always recording everything that you're doing, which is where people hacking becomes so useful. Whatever you do online, you're leaving a trace behind on some website, server, or system in some part of the world. People hacking is the technique of searching the entire internet, looking for private information about some individual. The information that you can find out using people hacking is the following. You can find out contact addresses, date of birth, email address, contact numbers, place of work, satellite photos, work history, and so on. A simple example is a website called people.com. PIPL.com. So let me open up people.com and see what it is all about. So in people.com, you can type somebody's name. So I'm going to type Shayak Banerjee. And it's saying it's searching the internet for information about somebody called Shayak. And then you can select which specific Shayak you're interested in. And it will do another search. So if you notice, it has now shown me a lot of information about my friend Shayak. So it has shown me his photograph. It has shown me I can get his contact details, I can get his address history and vital records. I automatically know that he went to Stanford in 2007. He was actually a friend of mine from Stanford. His entire LinkedIn profile has come up. And his Twitter profile. Then maybe his wife's name, Urmi Banerjee. He worked with Professor Gustav, so even his name has come up. So all sorts of information can be found out by simply typing somebody's name on this website. So let's try another website. So just the way you have people.com, you have spokeo.com. Spokeo.com. It's spokeo.com. spokeo.com. So once again, all you got to do is type somebody's name into it. So I'm going to type Shayak Banerjee, my friend. I click on search. So in different states in the US, it's found multiple Shayaks. So let me click on one of them. So if you notice, I have found his current address, which is on College Avenue. It has found the exact location. So on the map, it's shown me the exact location. I can get his phone number. I may have to pay for it, but I can get his phone number, email address, marital status, family members. location history, neighborhood information, photos and social profiles, and so on. So Spokeo is even more powerful than people.com. Similarly, there's yet another website called anywho.com and intellius.com. So anywho.com and intellius.com. So let me open up Anywho. So usually these websites will be more effective for people who have lived abroad, because abroad every single thing is actually being done through the internet. But slowly, even in India, things are changing and things have started appearing in these websites. Right? So that was Anywho, and then along with that you can do a quick search on Facebook, no longer in Orkut unfortunately, LinkedIn and other social networking websites. Typically most people have profiles on these websites, so you can actually get a lot of private information about people by just doing a quick search, a public directory search on these social networking websites. Another very interesting website is of course Google Maps Street View. So we know that Shaikh Banerjee lives on College Avenue in Palo Alto, based on the previous website that I have shown you. So let me now just go to maps.google.com and I'm going to type College Avenue, Palo Alto in California, and I press Street View, and it actually takes me to that exact address or to that exact street. So I can zoom in, I can move around on the street if I want to. I can go in any direction that I want. So imagine if I know somebody's address, I can see how their house looks like from outside. Right? I can see how many cars they have. So there are 2 cars parked here. I'll try to zoom in. So I'm zooming into the car as well. So there are 2 cars. There's a garage at the back. This is somebody's house. Okay, there's a entrance from here. And stuff like that. So Google Street View is very intrusive, because it shows you a lot of information about one person. So let me enter a particular address, right? 376 College Avenue. Let's see, this is just a random address. I click on Street View. So imagine I'm able to see exactly what this building looks like. There are 3 cars parked here. There's an entrance from here, but I can also enter from over here. So there seems to be a parking garage here. So that's the beauty of Google Street View. It really shows you things that you could not earlier, and you can see this from anywhere in the world. I'm obviously in India right now, in Bombay, where it's almost as if I was live in California at this very point of time. Obviously these photos are not, real time, so I'm able to zoom into the windows also. So it's a pretty dangerous software. So people are no longer safe online, no matter who you are, no matter where in the world you live. If you notice, there's also another software called Google Earth, which many of you would have used before. It gives you a top-down view of the same address. So I've typed College Avenue, Palo Alto, and if you notice, the same address is kind of showing up. But a completely different view. So people hacking or invasion of privacy is becoming a big issue of concern. People need to be very careful about what they are posting on the internet, because it will always be found out through some search engine, through some website, through some social network. So I highly encourage all of you to increase your privacy settings on Facebook, on Twitter, on any other social networking website that you may be using, because you never know how it may come back and haunt you one fine day. One last demonstration that I'd like to show you before we wrap up today's lecture is basically a software called IP to Mac. IP to Mac. IP to Mac is basically available as a free download on the internet. It's a software that allows you to convert a particular IP address into its MAC address. So imagine that you and I are on the same network or the same LAN. You have found out my internal IP. And now you want to find out or convert that into my MAC address. How do you do that? Which is where this software, IP to Mac, comes so handy. Because IP to Mac, in this space provided in the software, you just have to type any IP address of your choice, click on Get MAC Address, and it will convert that IP address into the respective MAC address and display it on the screen. As simple as that. Please make sure that you understand that this software will only work if the IP address that you have entered is an internal IP, or basically it's a system that is within the same network as you. Because this software uses a ARP protocol, Address Resolution Protocol, which will only work within the network, not publicly on the internet. So on that note, we have pretty much come to the end of this particular lecture. We are ending a few minutes early because I didn't want to start a brand new topic today, because I would not be able to finish it. So maybe we will cover up the time in the next few lectures later on in this particular course. But I like to quickly recap before we end this particular lecture. Today we discuss everything about how to hide an IP address. And not only one technique, we discussed multiple different techniques. Everything from proxy servers, proxy bouncing, Tor. Then we discussed, HTTP tunneling, VPNs, siphon-like networks, and even upside-down text, reverse text, and so on. So we have pretty much covered all types of techniques or strategies available using which you can hide your IP address and hide your identity on the internet. Because although the internet is great, the biggest problem with the internet is that the moment you connect to the internet till the time you disconnect, no matter what you do online, every single move of yours is actually being watched. So it's actually becoming extremely important and also difficult for us to constantly protect and safeguard our identity and privacy on the internet. And hopefully after today's lecture, all of you have all the necessary skill sets to be able to do that. So up until now, we have discussed primarily the first step of a hacker, which is how to identify the victim. We've also discussed a little bit about the final step, that is escaping without a trace. Because in today's lecture, we discussed how to commit a perfect computer crime. And as part of that, we kind of discussed how to commit a crime and not be traced back. So from the next lecture onwards, we're going to start discussing step 2, 3, and 4, which is where real hacking lies, right? So the next lecture is going to be primarily focused on network reconnaissance and information gathering. That is how you can, once you've identified the victim, how you can find out the victim's IP address, the victim's operating system, the list of open ports, the list of loopholes, vulnerabilities, and so on. So once we know that, after that, I think the lecture 4 onwards, we'll start discussing specific types of attacks that you can implement to actually hack into the victim's computer. So I hope all of you enjoyed this lecture. Until the next time, this is Ankit Faria signing off.